Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle, Reiki, spiritual healer. And, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. And I thank you for your support. I thank you for your questions. And I thank you for reaching out to me, to let me deal with some of the issues that you've been facing. So, we do our thing here on, this channel. The chosen ones, we get down to business here. And I just wanted to have this conversation with you, that a lot of the men and women who have come out of the church, who have come out of these spaces that were supposed to be sacred, the conversations that a lot of my chosen ones, they've confided in me, and I've had to ask them, can we use your story? And, we're going to first start by saying that some of the chosen ones are, they are something else. They are something else. They say, yes, hi, Oracle, you can use my story if you just, come over here and, make sure that you give me 3 phone calls for free. Granted. Okay. Yes, hi, Oracle, you can use my story if you, send me a free gift. Okay, granted. All right. Well done, chosen ones. So, we're talking about those people who have been in the church. Those people whose parents have told them that, they are H's and they are nothing. They will be nothing. They will be H's on the street walkers. So we have to understand that, we have these ministers, and these are absolutely ministers and, people that is supposed to be of the cloth, ministers that I love. Some of the ministers that, I follow. But this is what we have to do as men and women of God. We can agree to disagree until we can sit down and have a conversation. What does the book say? How am I supposed to get married? And you're telling me, men of the cloth, who have been in leadership for years, who have families, who have been in leadership. And they will absolutely get in their pulpits and they will say things like, woman, thou art loose. Yeah, we going there today. They will say things like, you need to make sure that you're not overburdening your husband by having him, in debt, by wanting all these things and having him in debt. Okay. They will say things like, you need to obey your husband. Okay. But what about when your husband, they don't preach on these types of behaviors where you might have a minister who's very good at what he do, but not very good at following what the book say. So if you got, 10 children over here and you got another woman somewhere else with 5 children, you don't hear anything about those women, that outside woman with the 5 children. You don't hear anything about that. And you don't hear anything from the women in those people's lives, these ministers. You don't hear anything of the leadership of other women so that they can be, role models to other women and tell about their marriage to these men. You don't hear anything too much. They're not allowed to talk about their marriage to these men that are ministers and preachers in the pulpit. They're not allowed to lead by example. Of all the things that these men say, then, they should have their wives that has, that stand behind what they're saying, that has the agreement that this has been the best husband for me in the marriage. And many times the reason why they are not allowed to speak on their marriages is because they have been held captive and they are unhappy in that marriage. And you will hear the male get up and say that, oh, she is so beautiful, and, we've been married for 50, some 1,800 years. But you will never hear her speak, because in many times you will have to have an understanding from her perspective that this person has not been the best person to me. Yeah. This person has brought me an STD home. Chlamydia, it probably wasn't the deadly one, but he definitely brought me something home. I have counseled these women silently, these professional women, these women in community, these women in society. I have, counseled the Chosen One brothers about these women who are loose in the church, their wife sleeping with people in the church, the reason why they left the church. The pastor's supposed to be counseling and cannot be trusted with their wives. So, I understand why a lot of you are hurt. I understand. And when you start that journey and that healing process, then you will understand the discernment when you start, seeing these pastors, these ministers, these preachers teach a lot of things that they don't follow themselves. Why do you say what you do not do? Okay, we gonna get it in today. So they're very upset when you're calling them out about telling people to stay in abusive marriages. And this is the worst thing that one brother ever told me, because we absolutely know that the Aziz's wife approached Joseph, but when one brother told me that the pastor was sleeping with his wife, and he informed him that he should not divorce her, because it would look, this is what the Aziz did in the time of Joseph, and it would look bad on the church for him to divorce his wife. We have had women and men come to me with these kinds of stories, and I mind you, the women like coming to me too, because I like covering my face. I like covering myself. I don't want your man. If you're dealing with that kind of stuff, if you don't know my story, this is why I'm not married. So a lot of women, they like coming to me. They like talking to me. And I appreciate it. I thank you so much. But when we have these types of people in our midst that's more concerned about how they're going to look to the congregation, how they're going to look to other people, by leaving this person that's abusive, that's a narcissist, a lot of the chosen ones have to understand that when you're taking advice from these people who have something to gain, who are siphoning your energy, who want you to stay in abusive relationships, so that, they can be loyal to their entity. They can be rewarded by the entity in your churches, in your homes, and they're giving you this bad advice until the police have to be called, until the abuse becomes so evident, until the person give you something that you can't get rid of. But you're not supposed to break the marriage bond. And all of these, every pastor, even the pastors up today, do not preach on this, that you're supposed to let these people give you a disease and you're coming to them for help because that's your wife, that's your husband. No, that's not how this works. God gives us a way out. Just because it looks bad to you, this person has, this person has given me something in a relationship. This person waits till we're alone in order to try to abuse me. This is not the same person that he is. This is not the same person that she is in the church. This person is controlling, belittling, manipulating. This person is a sorcerer. This person is a magician. This person is a warlock. This person is a witch. Okay. And I need to take my distance. I need to, get my freedom away from this person. I need to, let this person know that, whatever they have been preaching to us, I'm not going to be able to do it with you. Something is not right about what they're preaching, and it's one-sided. It's one-sided for the narcissist. It's one-sided for the narcissist that's involved with these types of talks, with these types of advice, with these types of decisions that we must make in our lives based off the Holy Book. And it did not give us a decision-making law in order to harm the people in the marriage. It says in the Holy Quran that God hears both sides when the female is taking her prayer against her husband to God. And God, in likewise, if she is the culprit, God hears his prayer against his wife. So we have to understand that the way that the books have been discerned, the air has been discerned around these situations. God gives you, the chosen ones, the ultimate, discernment, the level of discernment where you can see these people for who they are. What those preachers and your parents is saying, that you shouldn't get divorced and all of that right there, and this person is abusive, this person is, using your body as a punching bag, this person is trying to, make you walk on the block, this person is trying to harm you. Mind, body, and soul, they're trying to control you. And they're trying to do it through intercourse. They're trying to do it through the marriage bond. And so this is how, we can understand that, in 3 marriages, you don't find somebody that is in alignment. This is why you're having men that don't have somebody that they can say is a godly person, a person that they can respect, a person that is on their level, a person that's healed. Because when they're not healed, these are the types of things that they will do to you in your relationship. And God gives you the ultimate discernment of the frequency that they're sending out, the manipulation that they're sending out, and the people who are in these spaces, these spiritual narcissists, these gang stalkers, and many times to keep you in a bad relationship, to keep you low vibrational by using spiritual tactics in order to attack you. I've had it in one of my relationships, the first relationships that I was in, and I absolutely understand that there are people who will spiritually attack you, spiritual narcissists, warlocks, and witches who will attack you to keep you in a bad relationship, a low vibrational state, to keep the spell of the colonizer over your heart and your mind. So I hope that you have received this message, and we're going to go live on Tuesday so we can talk about how to get married, some of the warning signs that you should look for, things that you should be doing in order to attract the person, the chosen one person, the right person into your life. I hope you received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. Book your one-on-one sessions. Donate to my channel. Leave a comment for me. Let me know how I'm doing. Book your life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions so I can acclimate a gift to your situation. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.